Yeah? You used to work
Yeah.
at Tinder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to live in Los Angeles for a little over a year, and then I came to San Francisco.
How have you been, man?
I'm okay. Just moved here, just working here.
Yeah? You used to work at
Yeah.
Tinder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to live in Los Angeles for a little over a year, and then I came to San Francisco
How was that transition from
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 college to working.
yeah.
Um, it was good. I think I got a lot more freedom, so it was nice. I think like cause like during the summer I did like internships, so I kind of had some idea of like what it would be like already. So that wasn't too much of a change for me.
I didn't even know you were interested in coding back in high school. Did you do coding back in high school?
I did actually. I didn't take any classes at Sunset, but I took some classes at like PCC, and then I also did what did I do? Oh yeah, I did some robotics competitions. I did some coding in there. So actually, when I was in middle school, my friends and I we made like programs for those little like graphing calculators. That's
Oh
how
yeah.
I got introduced to coding actually.
Oh
So
really? That's awesome.
yeah.
This is
Okay.
Kamal.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
friend of mine from high school.
Yeah.
He Where did you go to college?
So I went to two different colleges. I went to Oregon State University for a little over 2 years, and then I left there and I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign for like another like 2 years to complete my degree as a transfer student.
Why did you decide to transfer?
That's a good question. So when I was coming out of Sunset, I was like pretty like demotivated because I didn't think that I performed academically as well as my peers, and so I didn't like a lot of people were applying to like really nice colleges, and like I don't know, I didn't feel motivated to do that because like I didn't think my grades were good enough, so I just applied to basically OSU and UW, and that's it basically. I went to OSU, and then after like a couple of years of going to OSU, like one of my friends encouraged me to say like, hey, you like, what are you doing here? Like, you should go to a different school, and like, you'll like make better connections there, and you'll set yourself up for a better career and like that kind of stuff. So I thought about it. It was a big decision, but my parents were okay with it. So I applied to like I think like five different schools. I think I got to three of them. So yeah.
You
So
want to explain that a little bit, like how maybe making that move allows you to be in a better position
oh yeah,
and
sure. So
opportunities.
like um so the second school I went to was like a was generally like a much more like highly regarded school for computer science, which is what my degree is in. And so because one aspect is the career fairs were a lot better, and like a lot of the companies that like I wanted to work for, they recruited a lot more heavily there, which means it's a lot easier to. It was a lot easier to get an interview with them. It's still hard to like get a job there, and then because and you'll also be surrounded by like a lot more like ambitious students, and that makes it easier to like make connections and stuff. I don't think like for someone in my field, actually, it's not necessary to go to like um, a really good university, but I think it's always good to go to the best school that you can go to. So.
What made you choose that school? Was it like
Uh,
financial or good
well,
program?
so I was between so I did get into like actually my first choice was like UT Austin, But I got my second choice major there. I didn't get into CS, and so this was the best school that I got into that I actually got to study CS at. So that's basically why I chose it.
Like I don't know a lot about like computer science and like the languages,
Uh-huh.
but what do you think is the language of choice for you, and what do you use the most?
That's a good question. But actually, I guess that it depends on the situation. When I do like coding interviews, I use like a language called Python, and right now my team at work uses Java. But it's like someone's watching this and is trying to decide what kind of language to learn. I would say like I wouldn't focus. I wouldn't like focus too much on what kind of language to learn because there's a good chance that when you if you decide to do this as a career, that you may have to learn a new language on the job anyway. And a lot of the top tier companies don't care that much about what languages you know, as long as you know some language. They care a lot more about like your computer science fundamentals and like your problem solving knowledge. And they'll expect you to learn any new language that the team uses. So
Nice.
I'll just focus on
Nice.
it's like a couple of ones, basically.
So Python and like Java, just like the
Yeah.
logic. You want to get the logic down.
Yeah, I think those are two good places to start. Yeah, get the fundamentals down is more important for someone trying to learn.
Yeah. So I mean, you're working at Uber now, which is probably one of the bigger technology companies now. You know.
Yeah, well,
Taking
in
on
the
the
last
space.
few years, we've gotten a lot bigger now. Yeah.
So, what are some cool things? If you can talk about it, what are some like cool things that you work on?
Probably I can't say too much, but I'll say a little bit. So basically, like I work on a team I work in the organization called like developer infrastructure. So we make a lot of the tooling that like other developers use, and so it's so we don't make like the products that like users use, but we still have to face like a lot of interesting challenges because there's like new developers joining Uber all the time. So you have like all these like scalability challenges and like cost reduction challenges and things like that. So I think it's a good place to like apply my like academic CS knowledge and stuff.
Do you feel challenged there, out from more than?
I do. I definitely feel more challenged here than where I was working before. So, but I think that's better than being bored. So,
Is that partially why like you decided to move companies? Like what was the reasoning
that's
of
one
that?
reason. I also wanted to just like work at a company where where I was interested in what they were building, and I didn't find that at my previous employer. So
Okay,
I decided to come over here instead.
awesome. So how do you think you developed your skills? Like what are some ways like people can develop their skills and just like get better at coding and just be able to land a job like you did?
The way most people do it is they go to university and they study computer science, and and then that should help you develop your skills. And then they should also take like probably a couple of internships to get some experience. And some people also do like they participate in like hackathons, where they'll just like spend like a couple nights trying to like build some app or something like that, or they'll like on their own time or on their own free time they'll like make some side project or like some app or something like that. Me and a couple of friends and I tried to do that back at OSU. Those are like some ways. If I had to like pick out of all of those things, I think the internship is the most important one out of all of those things.
What kind of internship did you do?
So when after I moved to U of I did an internship at Amazon. That was like my first real rigorous internship for a summer, and the summer after that I did another internship at Microsoft. So that's where I think those two those built up my software development skills a lot more than probably a lot more than like what I did in school. So those are like highly recommended. So.
Those are some big companies, though. What do you think made you stand out? You want to give any like tips and advice how to like do well on the interview or like stand out from the crowd?
Yeah. So okay. So there's two parts to this. One is like getting the interview, and another one is like passing the interview. In my opinion, the second one is harder, but they can both be challenging. So for the first part, there's a couple of ways. Like if you go to a big name school, like those companies will recruit heavily at those schools, so that can help. Another way that is a really good way is if you know someone else that worked at that company, then they can put in a referral for you. So, and like I've been happy to do that for like people I know. Other people have done that for me before. Someone actually did that for me to get the interview here at Uber. So that can. Just if you make friends and stuff like that, that helps a lot. Those are two ways, and then of course, like most people just like apply online. If you went to like a good school and like you have some solid work experience, actually just applying online can actually can have a pretty good chance. Although like some people think it's a black hole, so I think the first like couple other two ways I mentioned, I'd try to do those. Another thing that I did too. Some other people do this too. Is you just go on LinkedIn and then you find recruiters for the companies you want to work at, and then you just message them. It might take sometimes it takes like a lot of tries. Like sometimes like I had to message like maybe at least like 5 to 7 different recruiters from the same company before I would get a call back. So I did that for Bloomberg. I did that actually. That can. that's another trick you can use. And then for doing well on the interview, so this requires I require some good knowledge of like computer science fundamentals. So you should there's sites that like people usually practice this on, like leetcode.com. That's like the most popular site where people practice questions. Once I think like a second, or I think once someone is in their like second to maybe third year of computer science education, they should have all the like fundamental knowledge to like try these interview problems. But you don't have to wait until then. I encourage people to actually like on YouTube. There's a lot of like CS lectures, like university lectures, and people can just watch those and just learn ahead of time. And I did that too, so I'd recommend that. So
awesome. That's some good information. Are you using a Mac right now?
I am.
Yeah. So are you a Mac or a PC guy?
This is my work laptop, so it basically has to be a Mac. My personal laptop is a PC, just because for the games, you know.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think I have anything against Macs really anymore. But I probably like for my own personal use, I would still rather a PC just because of the games thing, and you can install Linux on the PC, or you can do that on the Mac too. But the Macs tend to be more expensive, and the games are generally fun to do.
Yeah, what are you playing nowadays?
I haven't really played that much since I moved here. Before I moved here, I was playing Gears of War for the Windows PC version.
Nice. What do you think was the hardest transition from maybe living in Portland and just from high school to like, we can talk about college or just talk about like transitioning into your career? What do you think? What's the hardest thing and what's the most rewarding?
When I was like living with my parents, I actually was like, I think I'm naturally like pretty I really like desired to be independent. So I was kind of excited when I was able to live on my own, and I like first like the responsibility of having bills. So I think that was like the best part. The worst part, I don't know. I guess there's a feeling that like I'm kind of all out on my own now, and like no one's gonna be like like I don't really have like um, maybe I don't have like as much of a security blanket. Well, I think well actually in Asian families I don't think that's really true, but um, I don't know. I don't think there's really. To be
Was there
honest, I
ever a
don't think
time
there's.
period where you were like stressed out and you were just like, oh man, things are really difficult? You
Yeah, like I had those moments, but those were mostly related to like other aspects of my life that weren't like strictly related to like not like moving out and stuff. So yeah.
so how did you get out of those kind of situations?
Sure. I still kind of struggle with that, to be honest. Um, like for example, like the one of the like the thing most of the things usually the things I stress out about is things like dating, because
Okay.
like I kind of like suck at it, and I didn't really do it in high school or college. I just try to like work on myself, and yeah, that usually helps. So
Definitely. I mean, I just ask those questions because people even watching,
hmm
you go through those issues, and so do millions of other people,
yeah,
And I
yeah,
just want to show them, hey, like these people that we're talking to, these professionals that are doing well in their career and on a career path, that they have these issues that come along too. So I
yeah.
think
Not
like
everything
hearing
is
it from
perfect.
someone
Yeah,
else is always
yeah.
powerful. How has Uber been able to like make their value extremely high?
I guess because they provide a service that's like convenient for a lot of people to use, and they also provide like easy employment for a lot of people. That's how they're contributing value. Like basically anyone with a car can have like a side income now, as long as like they're willing to like drive around and stuff. And so yeah, I think this gig economy thing is really exciting to work at a place that's in it.
How do you like San Francisco?
Like I don't really like it here that much actually. My dream in college was to move to New York City, so this is like I don't know. This feels like a tier 2 city compared to theirs. So yeah,
What? Any
I mean there's a lot of problems here, and like I think the city government doesn't really solve these problems effectively. Like homeless, there's a lot of homelessness, and there's a lot of like drug addicts everywhere, and like the city isn't like clean. There's like drug needles on the streets, and like it's also, and even though there's all that stuff, it's still like the most expensive like rental market. Like and it's even more expensive here in New York to rent an apartment. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Portland's becoming like that too.
Yeah,
It's
I
like the
think
second
it's
Bay Area.
everywhere kind of. Well, West Coast is. I guess coasts are more desirable than the center of the country. So, yeah.
Nice. So any like future plans?
Future plans. I don't know. Eventually, like at some point, I want to move to New York City. I guess like find a relationship at some point. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it up, maybe,
Okay.
um, what's what's some of the are you doing any projects on the side?
No, I usually when I work full time I don't, because I think the work is um, very interesting enough and it already occupies a lot of my time. I'd rather spend more time on that so I can
Nice.
do a better job at work.
What do you do outside of work then?
Outside of work, I just like go to the gym. I spend time with my friends, and like we explore this area. Like sometimes like I go to meetup groups and stuff.
Nice.
So
Are there any like books or advice you can give to a student that's looking into computer science?
Okay, so if someone is in high school, they should I would say like try to get into the best university for CS as you can, and it's not necessary. Well, if you have the time, try to like take some programming classes at your community college, or do some robotics or some other activity that's in this field. And then if you're already in college, I would say prepare a lot for interviews, because a lot of people don't really do that, and that's not good. And then what else? Be proactive and like reaching out to people for like opportunities, like even just on LinkedIn, even that helps a lot. And yeah, I mean it's not I heard someone once say that like if you're at a job and you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, that means that you should lead, because that means there's nothing else for you to learn, so you should. So yeah,
That's good. That's actually a good advice, a little saying.
Yeah.
So are there any do you have any mentors at work?
Yeah, I do. I have a mentor, and like he gives me like career advice, and like also like reviews like my code and stuff. So it's very helpful. So.
Nice. Any books you recommend, or any sayings like you just did that stick out to you at this time that you want to share?
Books. To be honest, I didn't really like when I was doing this field, I didn't really read that much. I think IB English just like killed my desire to read books. So yeah. I think a lot of the information you can find on the internet. I don't really think you have to read that much books, to be honest. I would just say like learn to learn to search for information properly if you're gonna be in this field. That helps a lot. And definitely like I kind of mentioned before, don't be afraid to teach yourself the things you need before you learn it at school, because if you want to do the interviews, the knowledge that you might need, you might not learn it until like you take the classes. But if you teach yourself it early, then you'll be prepared earlier, and then you can do the interviews earlier. So yeah, I would do that. So
nice. Thanks for that, guys.
So
Guys, this was Kamal. You want to give any shout outs of anything that you're working on, or how people can contact you and reach you?
Put my LinkedIn or something.
Yeah.
And, if people can message me on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Cool. Any Twitter, Instagram, any of those you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, I guess you can. Yeah, I guess I can share my Instagram handle as well. I don't really put any like much career related stuff on there, but it's still like a way to reach out to me or something.
Yeah. How do they find you?
Huh?
How can they find you?
My Instagram is Kamal Chaya, like CamelChaya.
Yeah, I'll add everything, and if anybody has questions, you can reach out to either him or me in the comments. Ask questions, and we'll follow up.
Yeah.
And great, thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem, dude. See ya.